Welcome to In the Deep. I'm your host, Catherine Ingram. The following is excerpted from a session of Dharma Dialogues called In the Mystery. It was recorded in Byron Bay, Australia in 2011. Often we begin a so-called spiritual search out of suffering, out of trying to make meaning of a difficult life, or a difficult childhood, or a huge loss. We want to have this world make sense, have some purpose behind all this misery, have it lead somewhere. We want to sort of tie it up in a bow. Or we might be driven out of just a natural philosophical curiosity. Some people didn't have a particularly terrible childhood or a lot of suffering yet, but have just a natural curiosity. Want to find things out, want to study philosophy or spirituality. All kinds of reasons we come to the seeking of truth. But to save us all a lot of trouble, I'd like to propose that the search will only land you in the unknown, in the mystery. And in this mystery, there's a great quiet, because you see the futility of trying to tell stories about this, trying to make sense of it all, trying to dream up purpose and connections. You start to become very comfortable with living in a mystery, not having to know, not having to know why this all is, or where it's going, or what it means, what it portends. And you get to relax. You get to relax, and in that relaxation is actually a great natural humility. Not having to know. Not having to be someone who knows, who's figured it out. And you start to loosen up, you start to have a lot of wiggle room around an identification of being a spiritual seeker, or being really anybody in particular. You start to have this very loose relationship to the so-called sense of I. You use it sort of as an appropriate tool. You have to say, when you call the dentist, I'd like an appointment on Tuesday. Or if somebody asks you where you're from, it's very tedious to say, oh, I'm just floating in space, there's no one here. It's tedious to say, tedious to hear. But your sense of identification about yourself starts to become lighter. Because you don't really have to know much to get around in this world. You just have to know your own direct experience. And even that, with time, your memory starts to fade, and you can't even remember even that. And your sense of so-called identification starts to become larger with the mystery itself. So that you're watching something unfold, you're watching something happen, and you're not telling any story about it, but you feel somehow at one with the occurrence. You're not trying to make meaning of it at all. And yet you feel it's just a part of the unfolding of all of existence, just as you are a part of the unfolding of all of existence. And you sense that. You stop feeling this separate sense of the one who has to figure it out and name it. And how does this fit in? And what is the philosophy for this? And you get to relax. And in that relaxation, as I was saying last week, is a great love. It's a kindness to yourself. And therefore, once your own well is full, being kind to yourself, your own well starts to fill. It's a kindness to everyone you are with. And you meet people in this humility of not being the one who knows. Just one who's open to seeing whatever presents itself and not having to figure it out. Then everybody relaxes around you. Because we also know how tedious it is to be with someone who thinks they know. As the great Taoist quote has it, those who know don't say, those who say don't know. And then you can really meet people heart to heart. Really in simplicity, being to being. And you can talk story very lightly. You can tell what you've been doing and this happened and that happened. And when you're with someone who also understands the mystery of it all, there's a lightness in it. You can both talk story and there's a lightness in it. This, for me, is the so-called awake life. It's actually very simple and straightforward and ordinary in a beautiful way. Living in that sense of the unknown, the mystery. You love easily. You walk on this earth lightly. You become, as one of my Thai teachers once said, you become as a still forest pool, and then all kinds of strange and wonderful creatures will come to drink of you. This has been In the Deep. To support these podcasts, you can subscribe to this channel on iTunes or post a review there. If you'd like to know more about my work, book a private session, or make a tax-deductible donation for the ongoing production of the podcasts, please visit catherineingram.com. Till next time.